Hello everyone and welcome to the second to last level type in Rico, the construction site. And the construction site has one outstanding feature. The construction site is the only level type to have explosive barrels. Nowhere else in the game can you find explosive barrels. Now you can shoot fire extinguishers in some levels, but all that does is blind people, doesn't blow them up. But in my experience, if you're playing a construction site level, almost every single room you breach has an explosive barrel in it somewhere. Now, whether that barrel is in a useful position, that varies, but it's there somewhere, and it may benefit you to find it in some circumstances. Not this one, though, where the barrel's kind of far away from anything it might actually hit, but sometimes there are a bunch of enemies just huddled around an explosive barrel, and those are good times. Now, of course, you can also die instantly if an explosive barrel is shot near you, but thankfully the enemies are not smart enough to aim directly for explosive barrels. Unlike you. The enemy AI is not incredibly intelligent, but it doesn't need to be, because there's a whole fucking lot of them and you die really fast. It's worth mentioning that stairwell rooms like this one are the worst places to have shootouts because the enemies are all above you and they can fire down on you easily, but firing between the bars to shoot at them can be difficult. In levels with 3 floors specifically, it's an absolute nightmare. Now, let's talk a little bit more about some of the game mechanics that I haven't mentioned yet. So I mentioned that in some levels you can shoot fire extinguishers to blind enemies. This is a mechanic you can also get if you use a flashbang grenade. Blinding enemies is super good because it basically makes them incapable of doing fucking anything for a while. But after you get the sting grenade, which just blows up enemies instead, there's no reason to not use that. There's also the downside that if you use a flashbang grenade, as useful as it may be, if you're too close to it, it may also blind you. There's also the case that you can be blinded by a flashlight from someone else's gun, and you might be asking yourself, well, when would that ever happen? Well, this game was primarily designed to be played cooperatively, actually. And there are a few mechanics that are unique to co-op mode. One of them is that you can accidentally blind your partner with your flashlight, if you have a flashlight on your gun. But a more important mechanic is the ability to breach rooms from multiple angles. You do have to clear out a room before you can breach another one, but because you're playing 2-player, you can breach rooms from multiple angles. And you gain a burst of slowdown only when you breach rooms at the same time. So there's an added element of strategy. It also makes bomb defusal a lot less scary, because it goes a lot faster with 2 people. Rico is very, very difficult in single-player in case mode. That much I can say for certain. It's still difficult in co-op, but it's far more doable. Another reason co-op is easier is you haven't seen this yet, but down in the bottom left next to our health there's a syringe. That's a revive. If we get our health down to 0, we can use a revive to get back to 50 health. It's sort of a knocked down state, like in Borderlands, where you sit on your ass and wait for someone to either heal you, or you die, or you stab yourself with a syringe. But in co-op, another player can heal you instead of you just healing yourself. And you can buy additional syringes, or revives as they're called, in case mode. You can hold up to 2. And 2 players holding 2 syringes is 4 revives in total, which makes the game, again, much easier in co-op. The method you use to purchase additional guns and things like revives in case mode is a currency called merits, and you get merits by completing optional objectives in case mode. The optional objectives are often arbitrary, but they're there as a sort of additional challenge that you should complete if you want more goodies. Like, one of the optional objectives is to headshot a certain number of enemies. Another optional objective would be to melee a certain number of enemies. Another would be to clear the entire building. Another one would be to grab a certain amount of cash lying around. Stuff like that. So you buy things using merits, and you get merits by completing objectives in case mode. It's not a traditional kind of currency. I think there's one more mechanic I haven't mentioned yet, just one more. There are traits that you can unlock for your character by leveling up. You level up by completing missions in case mode. Level 14 is the max level. And the traits you get for your character stay between playthroughs. They're the only thing that stay between playthroughs. For example, the traits I have equipped right now give me a +1 to my health every time I clear a room, and also reduce recoil. So the longer you play the game, the more you level up, and the more rewards you get. Permanent rewards rather than ones that just go away. None of the rewards are overpowered, though none of them stop the game from being challenging. As I'm sure anyone could tell you. I reached level 14 with only a few days of playing. Like, I think I only owned the game for fucking 2 days before I reached level 14. So yeah, I really like this video game.